Hello guys, we are going to continue the remaining part of this chapter. We are discussing morphology of flowering plants. In that we have already covered the structural details, the morphological details of root, stem and leaves. Now we are going to discuss little bit about the fruits and also about the several concepts like floral formula, and we are also going to discuss the characteristics of several families of plants. So let's start guys. So what is exactly the fruit? As we know, fruit is modified form of ori. Upon successful fertilization, an ori get converted into a fruit. Later on that fruit get mature. In that the seeds also get matured. So after successful pollination followed by the fertilization, ori get converted into the fruit and ovules develops into the seeds. So in this case, the fruit which develops without fertilization, it is called as parthenocarpic fruit. It doesn't involve any kind of fertilization. But the fruit which develops upon successful fertilization is a true fruit. So again we can classify fruit into two types as true fruits and pseudo fruits or false fruit. So here I can say the fruit which directly develops from the ori of a flower, that can said to be a true fruit, just like mango. And in other words, the fruits which do not develop from the ori, it means it develops from something else like thalamus or receptacle. That kind of fruit is called as false fruit or pseudocarp or pseudo fruit. For example, apple. If you see the apple, apple is not a true fruit. Apple is a kind of false fruit or pseudo fruit. How? Because the fleshy part that we eat in the apple is actually derived from the thalamus of the flower, not from the ori. So it is not actually formed from the ori, but the other floral parts like thalamus is involved in the formation of the majority of part, the fleshy part in the apple. So apple is a kind of pseudo fruit. Fruit mainly consists two parts. One is pericarp, which is also called as fruit wall, and the another seeds which are embedded in the fruit. So pericarp is said to be the wall of fruit which is developed from the ori, and in some plants you can say pericarp is also get differentiated into three subparts or three sub layers, you can say. The outermost layer is called as epicarp of the fruit. The middle layer, which is mesocarp, in most of the cases this mesocarp is very fleshy. It is juicy or pulpy, and it is the part which is edible for us. So the middle layer is mesocarp, for example in mango, and the innermost layer which is called as endocarp, which is thin, and in some cases it is like a membranous like in orange, and in some cases the endocarp is very hard like stone, for example in mango, coconut, plum, etc. In some plants pericarp is single. It means it is not differentiated into the subparts, for example peas, beans, etc. So seeds, the another part of a fruit which is enclosed in the fruits, and some fruits may have single seed or some can have more than one seeds, so multiple seeds can also be there. Okay, and generally the seed as like the fruit develops from the ori after successful fertilization. Similarly the seeds after successful fertilization, they develops from ovules. So we are not going to in more details regarding fruit, but just roughly I can say the fruits can be classified into simple fruits, which is a simple fruit which is derived from the ori, not the other floral parts, only from the single ori it derives uh, of a flower. That kind of fruit is called as simple fruit. So ori which is responsible for giving rise to this fruit can be monocarpellary ori. It can have a single carpel, or it can have a multiple carpels. So polycarpellary ories can also be there, which give rise to this kind of simple fruits. So these simple fruits are again of two types. They can be dry fruits or that can be a fleshy fruits. Dry fruits, for example, cotton, pea, ladyfinger, etc. Fleshy fruits, tomato, guava, mango, etc. So why they are called as dry and fleshy fruits? The name itself suggests the dry fruits. In that case, the pericarp has become dry and thin at the maturity. So they are dried and they can be break down upon the maturation in order to release the seeds. So they are also called as dehiscent fruit. And those who do not undergo such kind of breakage upon maturity, they are indehiscent kind of fruits, dry fruits. Legumes and capsules are the dry and dehiscent fruit, you can say. Again, the more details regarding simple fruits. Again, the second type of fruit is aggregate fruit, which is also known as Itarios. In this case, the flower who has polycarpellary ori, each ori give rise a simple fruitlet, and the multiple fruitlets gives rise to a common fruit, which is kind of aggregate fruit. The aggregation of fruitlets, a collection of fruitlets, you can say. So these small fruitlets in some cases have common covering, for example in custard apple. Okay. Another kind of fruit is also a kind of aggregate type, which is composite or multiple fruit. It is a fruit which develop from entire inflorescence. The entire inflorescence we have already discussed. Inflorescence is a cluster of flowers. So the entire inflorescence give rise to a fruit, which is called as composite type of fruit or multiple fruit. So in this case, the fruit along with ovaries can also develop from other floral plants. Here the peduncle in some cases also involves in the formation of fruit. So on the basis of type of inflorescence, composite fruits are again of two types, that is sorosis, example pineapple, mulberry, jackfruit, and cyconus. So this is roughly the classification of fruit. We are not going to discuss the details of that fruits. So you can see here the simple aggregate and composite type of fruits. Then their examples are also examples along with their subtypes are also discussed here. You can just go throughout this memory chart. Thank you.